Hello everybody, welcome to the course of Object-Oriented Programming with Java. To learn Object-Oriented Programming, first we need to know what is an object. What is an object? Any real-life entity having a set of attributes and behavior is an object. For example, light, fan, chalk, duster, myself, you, all are objects. Now, how these objects can be identified? A human object, for example, can be identified in terms of height, weight, hair color, eye color, gender, age, etc. And what may be the behaviors of a human? Behaviors may be they can eat, they can sleep, they can walk, they can talk, etc. Now, from my example of different objects, you can see one thing, that all of them, light, fan, chalk, duster, car, myself, you, all cannot be under the same category. So, depending on some similarity factors, they will come under some particular group. So, a group of similar objects is a class. So, what is a class? A group of similar objects is a class. Next, what is then object-oriented programming? In object-oriented programming, we know we have to give importance to important objects in the system. And in case of procedural programming, which is a very common programming paradigm, there we give importance to important procedures in the system. C is a very common procedural programming language. Now, let us take an example of a project, say college automation system. In a college automation system, if I have to deal this project in a procedural approach as well as in an object-oriented approach, how should I deal with? First, it is a big task, so I have to break them down into smaller manageable parts. And in doing so, in a procedural technique, I have to find out important procedures in the system. So, what may be the important procedures in this case? For example, register students, evaluate student, manage stock, manage payroll, etc. Notice that all these names starts with a verb because they are procedures, processes, jobs in the system. On the contrary, if we have to do this project in object-oriented approach, we have to find out important objects of the system. So, what are the important objects of the system? The important objects of the system is, it may be student, it may be teachers, maybe stock, and notice that in this case, these are the nouns because they are the names of entities and objects in your system. Now, as we are telling that in procedural programming language or in procedural programming technique, we are always giving importance to procedures. Then does it mean that in object-oriented programming we don't have procedures? No. Procedures are still there, but we are managing them in a different way. Each object in an object-oriented programming system is associated with a group of data as well as method related to that object and presented as a single unit in your system. Now, there are several advantages of object-oriented programming over procedural programming. To understand that, we have to learn the basic principles of object-oriented programming, which we will be discussing in the next session. Thank you.